Let's talk about what happens after the American Revolution, where the 13 colonies, now a new nation called the United States, have to create a brand new government. And what a lot of people don't understand is that there was actually a government before our Constitution. It was called the Articles of Confederation. And to make a really long story short, the great fear that the founding fathers had was creating a government that was too powerful. We just got rid of a king. We have issues with authority. We have issues with taxes. We have an issue with freedom. So the first government that was created was actually very weak. And again, to make a long story short, essentially it's 13 independent nations tied together, and it caused a lot of problems. One of the biggest ones was Shays' Rebellion. So after a couple of years, they pretty much decided that this government's not going to function very well. We're not going to survive. So we need to get together and we need to come up with a new government. So in 1787 in Philadelphia, the Constitutional Convention is called together. And the idea is to create a brand new federal government. And out of these very heated, very intense debates, a lot of Enlightenment ideas are going to be thrown out. And again, we're talking about how ideas become things. So all these ideas that we have about government and freedom will finally find themselves into the Constitution in the form of how our government is arranged, and more importantly, in the Bill of Rights. So let's break down very simply the Constitution and look at how Enlightenment ideas actually made their way into our government. And the first part of the Constitution begins with the preamble. And the first couple of words are extremely important. You should all know the first three: we the people. But if you continue on, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to have a stable country, establish justice, freedom, and equality, ensure domestic tranquility, peace within that nation, provide for the common defense, to defend ourselves from problems and issues, promote the general welfare, to all be successful, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, so that liberty is a part of who we are and future generations. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So we the people, and then you can kind of skip over all that other stuff, establish this Constitution for the United States. So the idea here is that the power to create the government comes from the people. And we can directly connect that back to John Locke's Enlightenment ideas of social contract. So the preamble and the Constitution are, in fact, a social contract. So what other ideas do we find in our government? Well, we create a federal government with three separate branches. We have the legislative branch, which creates the laws, the executive branch, which enforces the laws, and the judicial branch, which interprets those laws. So back in a monarchy, most of those powers would be held in the hands of the king. So the Enlightenment idea that we can connect this to, and the Enlightenment person, of course, is Montesquieu, whose idea of separation of powers gives us a government where the powers are divided amongst the three branches, each one with a specific job. But to make sure that things work well, he also believed in a system of checks and balances, that those three branches had to interact with each other, but also have power over one another. And you can follow all that in the chart here, and it's something you'll talk more about when you get into government class. So after the rewriting of the Constitution, there were some people who were afraid that there weren't enough laws specifically stated. So the creation of the Bill of Rights is very important. And it's the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution that list the rights that we have, the First Amendment being extremely important. It involves the freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and the right to petition our government. And we can kind of tie the First Amendment directly to the Enlightenment philosopher Voltaire. The Fourth Amendment, the protection from illegal search and seizures, meaning that the government or the police need a warrant in order to search your premises. The Fifth Amendment is a really, really important one in terms of testifying against yourself, protection from double jeopardy, the guarantee of due process, and of course the Sixth Amendment, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, and all sorts of other things very important in terms of your legal rights. And the Eighth Amendment, no excessive bail, excessive fines, prison terms. So lots and lots and lots of the Bill of Rights involves your legal rights, and we can tie all those back to the Enlightenment philosopher Cesare Beccaria. His ideas will be prominent in the Bill of Rights. So if we look at our Enlightenment philosophers, there's really one more who didn't make the presentation, and that is Rousseau, and the idea of because we have a democratic system, people are going to be able to elect their representatives. So Rousseau is also extremely important in terms of establishing the fact that the people will have a vote and a say-so in all of these things. So that's a quick look at how ideas became things, how the ideas of these Enlightenment philosophers actually became part of our government that we use every single day.